Hey guys, how's everybody doing? This is Pastor Jason, and just want to take a second and present a daily challenge for you guys from the book of Ruth. I was reading Ruth yesterday, and if you're not familiar with it, it's 4 chapters long. 10, 15 minutes is what it would take to read. I highly recommend it. But as I was reading it, something just captured my heart, and I really wanted to share that with you. Um, so the book of Ruth really it focuses on two main characters. You have Naomi and you have Ruth. And the story starts with Naomi, and she's in her homeland of Bethlehem, and there's a severe famine, so they migrate to Moab, and they're really searching for a better life. They're trying to make it to their promised land, so to say. But it doesn't quite go as planned. Something tragic happens. Naomi ends up losing her husband, and she still has her two sons who marry two of the locals, Ruth and another girl. But shortly after they get married, they end up passing away. So we find Naomi in this um, pretty desperate situation. She just lost the people that she's closest to in life. She's not. She's traveled away from her homeland, so she's in this foreign territory. Her whole world has been flipped upside down, and you can only imagine what she's feeling, the wave of depression that is hitting her. And this is the part that really, really got me thinking, because in the story, she begins to just push people away. She doesn't want um, anybody to see her in the situation that she's in. Maybe it's shame, maybe it's guilt. It could be a lot of things, but it is pretty common for people to experience, or who are experiencing depression, to isolate themselves. And that's exactly what we saw with Naomi. However, Ruth wasn't having it. Ruth had this relentless loyalty that I just found remarkable, because she had somebody that she loved and somebody that she cared about in this dark spot. And she would not take no for an answer and wanted to sit in that dark spot with her friend. And I just thought about, man, what if we could be doing that today? In the situation, in the season of life that we're in right now, I think a lot of people are in a dark spot. I think mental illness is real. I think depression is real. I think fear and anxiety and the waves of emotion that people are feeling right now of uncertainty is affecting a lot of people. But I don't think people really want to reach out and say, "I'm scared. I'm worried. I'm going into bad habits right now. I'm starting to make bad decisions." They isolate themselves. And that's what got me thinking, like, I want to be like Ruth. I want to knock on the door to people. And that's what I want to challenge us to do as individuals, as Christians, as a church, to be more like Ruth. Make those phone calls, send those text messages, send an email, Facebook messages. There's so many different ways and avenues, because and I can say this from my experience. When people are hurting, they want to isolate. And it takes the spirit of Christ, the spirit of, God loved us first. And so now that spirit needs to manifest within us, and we need to love others that way. And I think that's what Ruth encompassed, you know, with her attitude and her noble character that she possessed. So the challenge is to be more like Ruth. And if you read the rest of the story, beautiful things happen. Naomi and Ruth developed this incredible relationship, this mentorship. They just developed this unbreakable bond that basically becomes a new family for Naomi. As Ruth goes on to get married, she marries a man named Boaz, and they have a child. The chapter 4 wraps up with Naomi holding that child like it was her own, surrounded by people that she loves. And none of this would have happened, this miracle wouldn't have happened, if Ruth didn't show her relentless love. And that child, I say miracle, because that child had a child who had a child who was King David. And we know that King David eventually, Jesus Christ was a descendant of King David. So miracles happen when we reach out, when we spot somebody who might be in a dark spot and reach out to them, show a little love, show a little compassion, show a little loyalty and show that we are willing to sit in the dark spot with you. So that's the challenge. Be more like Ruth. Think of somebody in your life that maybe is drifting a little bit. Maybe the communication has slowed down a little bit. And reach out to that person. Let them know you love them. Let them know you care. Let them know that you'll be with them through this time and through this season. And who knows, maybe a miracle will happen.